Today we are lucky to have John McClain here with us. He is the President and CEO of the Lancaster County Chambers of Commerce and has an impressive career including time in the U.S. Air Force. Mr. McClain is here to share his experiences and give us some insights into local businesses. And let's give him a warm welcome as he shares what he's learned along the way and how it can apply to us college students just starting out in our careers.
How's everybody doing? Try to stay a little slide here. Great. Hey, how do I advance the slides, Mike?
Just click on the mouse.
There's a pull-out keyboard.
Oh, just click on the mouse?
Just click on the mouse and it should advance.
Okay, cool. All right, well, we'll just leave it there then. So it's great to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, Mike, and for the committee. I appreciate you, or the club. Thank you for letting me come over this afternoon, spend some time with you over lunch. That pizza smells great, by the way. But, and the best part is free, right? So, but I thought what I would do is kind of give you a little Reader's Digest, kind of a condensed version of my background a little bit. Mike asked me to talk a little bit about my background and how I wound up where I currently am. I'll be very brief with that and then jump into just a few slides. It's occurred to me in other speaking opportunities I've had that folks have maybe heard of a Chamber of Commerce, but they're not really sure what it does, right? You've heard about it, you've maybe seen a sign, but you don't really know what they do. So I thought I would maybe jump into that to wrap it up and then have some Q&A and get you out of here on time. So briefly, I am from Lancaster County. I grew up here, out in a rural area north of the city called Unity Community. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but that's where I grew up. I went to Buford High School. Any Buford grads? Got one Buford grad in the whole class? Okay. So I went to Buford, graduated way back in 1979, and then off to Clemson. So I'm a Clemson grad. While at Clemson, I was in the Air Force ROTC program. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's one of the pathways to earning a commission as an Air Force officer in my case, but the Army, Navy they have programs as well. I chose the Air Force, and so when I graduated from Clemson in 1983, and I was a business major at Clemson, I was off to the Air Force. I wound up making it a career. I had a 30-year career in the Air Force. I never planned on doing that. I just wanted to, I had a propensity, desire to serve the country. I wanted to serve, and I wanted to fly airplanes, and the Air Force gave me that opportunity. So that's kind of the way all that happened. As I said, wound up making the Air Force a career, and we were stationed all over the country, and I've had the opportunity to travel to many parts of the world in my role in the Air Force. Retired in 2013, and my wife, I should mention my wife, is also, I married my high school sweetheart, so she's also from Lancaster County, Buford High grad. We have two adult daughters, Lauren and Caitlin, and so they traveled around in the Air Force with us. When it was time for me to retire at the 30-year point, we decided to return back to Lancaster, back to our home, because we had aging parents at the time and felt like we just needed to be here to help with them. So after I retired from the Air Force, so I'm 52 years old. I know to you guys that seems very old, but in the professional life, 52 is still fairly young. And it was like, okay, what am I going to do next, with my life? And I find myself here in the Carolinas and the Charlotte area. So I did a couple of different things. Right after I retired, I was the Chief Operating Officer for a nonprofit blood center in Charlotte for about 1.5 years. Knew absolutely nothing about the blood business, but they were looking for somebody to help run their operation and offered me that opportunity. I did that for about 1.5 years. And then I helped a friend of mine in the Air Force start a business, and that was, I worked with him for about 6 or 8 months, starting his business out on the West Coast in the Seattle area. And then Lancaster County decided to stand up its own economic development department here in the county as a department of the Lancaster County government. And as a part of that, they hired a professional economic developer, someone who had done that basically for their career. And this individual decided he needed someone else because Lancaster County, as you all know, is a very growing county. The state is rapidly growing. I'll touch on that. So he brought me on as his existing industry manager, and so I spent 5 years working with the county in the economic development department before the chamber opportunity came available. I threw my hat in the ring or whatever when I knew this opportunity was coming available, and fortunately was selected. So I've been with the chamber just over 3 years now, and just really enjoying it. It was a relatively easy transition from working in the economic development community, where you're working with businesses, existing businesses. I already had a pretty good understanding of key industries and business sectors, and so it was a relatively easy transition into this role. But what this role did for me is it kind of opened the aperture, because now I'm working with all kinds of different businesses in the chamber, large, small, individually owned businesses, all the way up to the largest employers in Lancaster County. And so it's been a fantastic time for me. I'm enjoying what I do. I've got a great team, and you'll learn more about that here. But I wanted to kind of lay some of that foundation for you, because I know some of you maybe are business majors here at the university, but some are majoring in other things. And so I wanted to give you my background, just to underline that you never know where your path is going to take you in life, right? So I'm a student at Clemson. I want to be in, I want to be in the Air Force. I go that route. I never planned on making it a career, and lo and behold, that's what happened. I mean, that was not anywhere in my game plan when I'm 22 years old and graduated. But it was great. It was a wonderful experience, and I always tell everybody, if I had the chance to do it again, reflecting back, I'd do the very same thing. I would make the very same decision, because I loved the Air Force. It was just fantastic. And so, for those of you, I'm not a recruiter for the military, but for those of you who may be interested in that and want to talk more about what that experience is like, I'm always, of course, happy to talk with you about that part of my life. But it was a wonderful experience. And then, of course, after that's over with, I do a variety of different things, and now I'm the president of the chamber here in Lancaster County. So, all that's to say that whatever path you start out on when you graduate from college doesn't necessarily mean that's where you're going to wind up. You may do that for 3 or 4 years. You may do it for a career, or you may do it for 15 or 20 years. So tons of opportunities for you out there. You just never know where life's going to take you. And so I would just encourage you to make the most of every opportunity you have. And you're in a great spot right here at USC Lancaster. This place is, what a great asset to our community. So grateful it's here, and I'll touch on that in my presentation. But let's get started real quick, and we'll keep it moving. Mike, don't let me talk too long, okay? So what is the Chamber of Commerce? So a chamber is really the voice of business for the community. We are a member-driven organization. We exist to support members of the Chamber of Commerce. So, by the way, I got a couple of little, I went to the gift locker before I left, so a couple of freebies. There'll be a couple of questions at the end. So, you guys like t-shirts, free t-shirts, workout shirts, yeah, right? Yeah. Okay, so whoever gets the right answer will get a shirt, so pay attention. So, we are the voice of business for businesses in Lancaster County, just remember that. We want to improve the local and business environment, certainly strengthen our communities through a variety of ways. Networking is important, advocacy, and professional development. So just some things about the chamber. So our mission is to represent our membership. Remember, I said we are a member-driven organization with the goal of making Lancaster County a better place to live, work, and do business. So that's really our mission statement, our vision, kind of rolled up all into one. And we work hard to do that, and we do that through 4 kind of focus areas: business development, advocacy, community development, and member development. And I'll briefly touch on those as we go through this. So we are in our 68th year of being a chamber here in Lancaster County and serving our business community. We have a very proud link to USC Lancaster, because in its infancy, when USC Lancaster was just a concept, a thought, the founding fathers of our local chamber were part of the group that helped stand up USCL originally when it was in its first location, which was in the old house. Do you know where the library is in Lancaster? The current library that was recently renovated, just near First Baptist Church? Well, in that area on Chesterfield Avenue is where an old house was, and that's where the first campus of USC Lancaster was located before they had acquired this beautiful property that you have here today. So we have a proud link. We're kind of joining at the hip really with USCL. USCL, great partners with us. Bridget is on our board of directors. And so just really grateful for the partnership that we have with USCL. We are a nonprofit. We're a 501c6, which is the IRS designation for chamber nonprofits. We're led by 15 board members, and we're governed by bylaws, and we try to follow those closely. Here are our board of directors. You see that Cheryl guy, you may recognize Mike's brother there. So, and some of you may know these folks, many of these folks. You see Bridget, you're up there somewhere, Bridget, there you go. So these are our board of directors, and technically I work, per the bylaws, I work for the board of directors, and the chamber staff that you'll see shortly, I think next, work for me. So that's our small staff. We're a small but powerful team, 3 full-timers and 1 part-timer. So I'm the old guy, obviously, on the left, the only guy, actually. Jessica Banks is our director of programs and events. Michelle Hammond is our office manager, and she's a part-timer for us. And then Abigail Horton, she runs our marketing and member engagement activities. So they all do a fantastic job. I'm telling you, this is a great, great team, and I'm fortunate to get to work with these ladies every day. So why would somebody want to join the Chamber of Commerce? What are some of the benefits of that? Well, let's touch on that. If you're a business, things like business exposure, extremely important for you. You know, if you're starting a business, you're a young entrepreneur, you want to get your name out there in the community as fast as you can. Hugely important for you, especially when you're starting out. And so one of the things we do is we provide a lot of business exposure to for our members through a variety of ways. Social media, I'll touch on that, is a huge one for us. Networking events, we do lots of those. In fact, I would say over the course of last year, and some of this information is a little dated because this was from my mid-year review I provided to the board from about July. But last year, for example, we did a total of 91 events across the course of the year. So we're a very busy chamber, very active, but that's good for our members because that gives them increased exposure. We have lots of different programs. We'll touch on maybe a couple of those. We are the only published business directory for businesses in Lancaster County. We get calls routinely into the chamber. Can you recommend an accountant? Can you recommend a loan service? Can you recommend an attorney? And so our members get those recommendations. Free job postings. We do 2 e-newsletters a month. One is called Chamber Chat. At the first of the month, it talks about all the activities the chamber is providing for the community. And then the second one is called Member News. It typically comes out the 3rd Thursday of each month, and that talks about things going on with our members. Again, it's a part of spreading the word, getting your business out in front of the public as best we can. There's some of our social media stuff. Abigail does a wonderful job. I mean, she is just a marketing expert. She has really grown our program in terms of visibility for our members. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, of course our e-newsletters. So really happy with how we're getting the word out about the chamber and all the activities for our business community on a monthly basis. And you can see some of the follower numbers. This was as of July, and so I'm sure we're up a little further than that now. Let's see, total members, we're just under 400 members. That's pretty consistent. Travelers, so here's a fun little thing. I just got back last week, Wednesday evening, from a trip to Ireland with my family as part of the Chamber's annual international trip. So we sponsor a trip each year, And this year we went to Ireland. We had 27 total travelers. The year before, this one is referencing last year with 41 travelers, we went to the Amalfi Coast of Italy, and they spent about 9 days over there. So just some ideas of what we do for the community. And you can see here, as of the halfway point in the year, we had done 19 ribbon cuttings. I've got one today at 4 o'clock, and we had one yesterday at 11 o'clock. So those numbers are continuing to go up. Lunch and learns, we do one each quarter, so we just wrapped up our 4th one last month. YP, Young Professional Events. Are any of you 21 yet? Some of you are? Okay. I would encourage you to get involved in our Young Professionals program. Target age group on that is 21 to 40. It costs you $0 to participate in that. We have great programs once a quarter for our young professionals. Next year, January starts our 3rd year with that program. It's been very successful. So go to our website and kind of stay in tune with what's going on, and we'd love to see you all at some of our young professionals events. I mentioned the business directory. Every member actually has their own little web page on our website in the business directory. We show this one because Crazy Dog Grooming did such a great job with their own little individual website. But you can really make it your own, and that's what they did here. Very happy with that. Again, another benefit of membership. Lots of things. I talked about our events. We have ribbon cuttings, morning business connections. I would encourage you all to come. And Mike, I know it's tough with schedules sometimes, but we have 2 morning business connection networking events each month. One in Lancaster on Main Street at Chastain Studio Loft. You guys know where that is? Chastain's on Main Street. Starts at 8:30. We always end by 9:20, 9:30 at the latest. We have a guest speaker that speaks on some general topic of interest to the business community. Great opportunity to network. Coffee, we'll feed you some snacks and some coffee. A good opportunity to start getting to know the business community in your hometown. So again, go to our website, go to our calendar of events, and you'll see when those take place. I'd really encourage you to participate in those. Mix and mingles, we do about one a quarter, and those are evening events, so a little longer, a little more networking opportunities, but those are always fun. We just finished up our annual Rub the Green golf tournament at the end of September, or I'm sorry, the first part of October, and just a variety of things. State of the Community, I think some of you maybe are going to be coming to the State of the Community next week. We're looking forward to having you with that at that event. And then the Winter Soiree, which we hold right here on your campus at USC Lancaster, is our big annual meeting. And we'll get nearly 300 people attending that. And that's when we'll do our annual awards for businesses and individuals. Who's heard of the Leadership Lancaster program? Okay. Well, you will hear about it as you, as you get on board with local companies. Very popular program. We're about to kick off the 2024-2025 version tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And that's a legacy program in the Chamber. I think this is going to be our 39th year of Leadership Lancaster. Over 1,000 graduates in that program. So keep that in the back of your mind there as you look to the future. I think you all would really enjoy that. And just I mentioned some of this already, just a variety of programs available to you. We do have some committees that our members can be a part of. You know, we hold these big events, but that small chamber staff that you saw, they're not the ones that plan that. We have committees that help us plan all the events that we do. So lots of opportunities to volunteer and becoming engaged in the chamber. I mentioned our annual awards: Volunteer of the Year, Young Professional of the Year, Small Business of the Year, Indian Land, Lancaster, Kershaw, East Springs. We try to spread it out and share all that across the county. Business Person of the Year, Citizenship and Service Award, and then Top 10 under 40. So these are highly regarded awards, much anticipated, and very competitive, I might add. So last year we had well over, I think Rich, you were on that committee, weren't you? We had well over 30 nominees for the Top 10 under 40 from Lancaster County. So And then we can't do it without our top investors. We call them chamber champions. These are companies that really go above and beyond your basic chamber membership, and they just help us financially in terms of being able to provide some of the programs that I just mentioned to you. So really couldn't do it without them, and we're grateful for all they do for us. That's quick, okay? That's a lot of stuff. I know that's like, but I know time is limited, and I wanted to leave some time for some questions. So that's a little bit about the chamber, a little bit about what we do for our business community. So now I'm open for any questions. Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned how you help small business and large businesses, but how do you know exactly where to start when you're not like the one running it, if that makes sense?
Sure. So we do get lots of entrepreneurs, first-time business folks who are trying to launch a business, and they'll come to us initially and say, hey, how can you help? Well, we have a great relationship with the Small Business Development Council, SBDC, that's based actually on the campus of Winthrop University in Rock Hill. Jim Funk is the guy who runs that, and we have a great partnership with them. So we typically will send our young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs who are trying to start a business, we'll send them to Jim for a sit-down conversation about, what does it really take? Give me your vision. And then Jim's got a great series of classes he teaches and things he walks through with, okay, if you want to do this, these are the things you have to do first. This is your homework. Before you can start with this, you have a business plan. This is what a business plan looks like. And that's often very eye-opening that, somebody's got a dream, they're excited, they're ready to go. It's like, wait a minute, before you go too far, you gotta lay some foundational groundwork, and so he's very good at doing that.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Considering that you've worked with many, considering that you've worked with many small businesses that are starting up, blossoming, what is a common pitfall that you see many of these entrepreneurs fall into at the beginning, and what are some common things that these entrepreneurs do to grow, and things that you see that make them successful?
Yeah, that is a very good question. I think the biggest pitfall that I've seen in my time at the chamber, and even before that, is that I think failure to plan ahead and having sort of inflated expectations of super success early, I think that catches some folks by surprise. And some of you may have heard this since you're in the business classes, but for example, in the restaurant business, which can be very successful, but it can also be very difficult. Kind of the plan is that if you're going to be in a business like that, where you're providing a service, let's say, plan on going the first 3 years without being able to make a profit. But you'll get revenue coming in, but in terms of actually making a profit, just kind of fence off those first 3 years as I'm just going to get started. It's going to take me this long to get established and be successful. And then I think in terms of the flip side of your question, I think folks who really have done their homework and they've prepared, they understand the landscape, they understand the business climate, the economics of what they're trying to do. They've really studied and analyzed. And I think those who've really done that and set reasonable expectations for themselves, they're the folks that are going to be successful in the long term. If you want to go out and make $1 million your first year, probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. So, yes, ma'am.
So you touched on the Lancaster leadership Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, and what would it mean to actually be a part of that?
Sure. Well, Leadership Lancaster is a 7-month program that basically allows us to use, or we essentially use the community as a classroom. So the goal really is to familiarize yourself in more detail and to learn more about Lancaster County as a community that you live and work in. And also learn a little bit more about yourself, some of your own, what makes you tick, your own leadership skills and where you maybe, some things maybe you could work on. So kind of a combination of those. We start in November, so actually we start tomorrow with History Day. And so each month is a different class, and a full day is dedicated to a different topic. So for example, tomorrow's History Day, we'll spend a whole day both in the city of Lancaster and out in the county with some historical sites, learning about the history of Lancaster County. It's an incredible day. I grew up here, as I said, and within the first 10 minutes of that class, I learned something about Lancaster that I had no clue about. It was unbelievable. So next, the December class is Education Day. And so the students get to learn about public education and what goes on in Lancaster County. They get exposed to a private school environment, and they'll end up the day here at USC Lancaster learning about higher education and what's available to them. January, we do a beach retreat. So we go to the beach for a weekend, do a simulated society exercise, which is very interesting. And then, basically a course a month. And we graduate in May with a nice little graduation ceremony at our spring mix and mingle. So, yes, ma'am.
So, how are participants chosen for leadership Lancaster?
Yeah, very competitive to get in the class. Typically, your company or your organization will nominate you for the class. It's so popular and so well known that it fills up very quickly. Just to give you some idea, we open up enrollment for the class on July 1st, and it's typically full within a week. And we've got 45 students this year, so it does fill up very quickly. But put that on your list of the future things, and I think you'd enjoy it. It's pretty impactful. Any other questions? Yes.
I'll make a comment. I mean, the benefit if you own a business, the chamber, obviously, there are many, but the networking. Business gets done through people, and the events that they have and the mix and the mingles and all that stuff. If you're a small business, you have to be a member of the chamber. What's the big benefit for these guys as students, if they attend some chamber events?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that you kind of see how the business community works, as Mike just said, in terms of the networking piece. You get to meet business owners in our community, some face-to-face time with them. And by the way, our business owners, they're very interested in what you have to say and what you're thinking about, because you're gonna be the future leaders in our business community. Whether you're taking advantage of the services they provide or working for them someday or owning your own business, they're very interested in what your thoughts are and what you have to say. So tons of benefits to you all being a part of that. And I think honestly, just learning to network, being comfortable enough around other business people, other adults, that's important. I mean, that's a skill that's sort of acquired over time. No better time to start than right now. And we've got lots of free opportunities for you to do that. I would encourage you to take advantage of those when your schedule allows. Anything else before I get to my questions for my freebie stuff? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to kind of touch back on like your events and such. So for students, is there a way for us to be able to preview these events and like add them to our schedules? And who would we contact, because we're not like members right now? So where would we go to contact whoever at the Chamber of Commerce to be able to be a part of some of these meetings?
Sure. So the best way, because we have so many events, the best way is to go to our website and just go pull down the calendar, which will show you all the events we have going on any given month. And as soon as an event is announced, my team puts it on the calendar, and you can click on that event, and it gives you a little summary of what's going on, what time, all the details about it, and then how to register as well if you're interested. So it's all right. It's kind of one-stop shopping. Try to make it easy for folks. And then, I'm not a big social media guy. That's just not my thing. But if you are into Facebook or LinkedIn, what's the other one?
Twitter, Instagram.
Twitter, yeah, and some of those things. We're on those platforms. Just particularly Facebook. I know we are very busy on that. Just friend us or like us or whatever the right term is that you do for Facebook, and you'll be very plugged in with everything that's going on. So I promise you.
If I can add one more thing to that, is our Future Business Leaders of America Club on campus. We're very in tune with what they're doing, and we will attend some of their events, like the Christmas Mix and Mingle, the State of the Community event that's coming up. So if you join FBLA here, you're kind of automatically linked into events and stuff that the chamber's up to, and you'll have the opportunity to go. I think we have like 10 or 11 students that are going to the State of the Chamber.
Oh, great. You'll enjoy that State of the Community, I think. In fact, Dr. Catledge, the dean of your campus, dean of USC Lancaster, will be a speaker, a featured speaker at that. So, all right, I got two T-shirts to the person who can remember the right answer. How we doing? About time to wrap it up? We about there? About 10 till?
Sorry, not even paying attention. Yep, they have classes at 1.
Okay, so I mentioned that one of the things the Chamber does, one of our prime missions for the business community is to be what? The Who said voice? There you go. Thank you. All right, congratulations. So the next one is, I said that we're in a particular year of serving. This is our XX year.
68.
All right, good job.
Hey.
Well done, well done.
If you have an extra minute or two, can you stick around for a
Yeah,
minute?
I'd be glad to hang around for a few
Any
minutes.
questions